Hi guys, I'm Melina, and for 23 years, I literally can't believe I'm saying that, I've been helping women get unstuck and feel healthy, fit, and confident in their own skin. This is the Melina Method podcast, where nutrition meets mindset, fitness gets unraveled to be your superpower, and we really dive in to see the real you for who you are.
Hi, you guys. I'm so excited because I have a guest today. I always love it when I have a guest and I talk to people. I'm on here instead of talking to myself, but I actually don't mind talking to myself, so it's fine. But you guys, I have a special guest today. In today's episode, we're really talking about something specific in the fitness niche, fitness space. And I have a guest, and he is from an amazing growing company. This product, before I say what it is, this product came into my life when I was postpartum. And everybody knows I've been talking a lot more about that in the last year, but ever since I launched this show, specifically like my comeback, my rebrand, all the things. And it was something I did every single morning. Well, okay, I'm not gonna lie, not every single morning, but I did it often, and it really just got my circulation going, got my mood moving. And I came across this brand and this company from somebody else, I think postpartum, that was like posting about it. And they so nicely gifted me this product. And I've been using it, and I've built a great relationship with this brand. And so without further ado, I want you guys to meet Steve Carver from JumpSport Rebounders. So, if nobody here knows what rebounding is, it's the trampolines. Can I say trampoline? Is that what you say? Okay, trampolines, yeah. Um, and I feel like this fitness trend is like really evolving right now. And you're gonna definitely piggyback more into that. But um I really I like I'm very happy about how it evolved into my life, and I have this as a tool. It's in my bedroom. I don't keep it in my garage gym. I don't keep it in the living room. I keep it in my bedroom, so I have a habit of doing it, even if it's for 2 to 5 minutes first thing in the morning. My kids love it, and I mean, the feel of it, the quality of it, it's just unlike any other. I mean, I've jumped on a trampoline. I have like a really cheap one outside for my kids from Amazon, but this one we all love. It's so different. I even jump on it with my daughter. It's so funny. But um I want you to introduce yourself, and I really want you to just talk about your involvement with JumpSport, the first, few minutes here, your involvement in JumpSport, and why you think rebounding is having such a big movement or moment right now. And yeah, and then I have a couple other questions too, but start with those.
All right. Well, you already introduced me. I'm Steve Carver, and I'm the Business and Product Development Director for JumpSport Fitness. And my relationship with them started, I was about 20 years into my fitness career, and I was on a show called Dud to Stud, a reality TV show that took skinny, fat little guys that were really like, looked like the big muscle guy kicked sand in his face at the beach. And we took him through a transformation. And in that process, JumpSport was one of the sponsors on the show. And so they had asked me to use this product as part of the training tools. And I was kind of a more traditionalist on weight training and cardio. And I had a system and food and the whole 9 yards. And I'm thinking,
Totally.
what am I going to do with a trampoline? Not that I didn't appreciate trampolines, because my background is I did some stunt work. I did some competitive gymnastics, and trampolining was part of your training protocols. I did some competitive trampolining, trying to get ready for my stint as a stunt performer. So it wasn't that I was unfamiliar with trampolines or what they were good for, but I just didn't understand how I was going to use this tiny one to actually train people in any capacity. But what I found out was that JumpSport had created a product that was way more than a trampoline. So, and when I say that, what I mean is basically they took away the springs. They made a deeper, softer bounce that you were talking about earlier, why you enjoy it so much, why it's softer on your body. It's a funny word. It's called jerk. So when you jump on the ground and you hit the ground, there's a scientific term called jerk, like how much jerk force that you get when you impact. Well, because of the configuration of the JumpSport product, you can reduce that impact or jerk force by about 80% compared to the ground.
Wow.
Yeah. So my evolution with it is that I just started playing around with it and looked at it as more of a platform than I did as a trampoline. I didn't really see how I was going to just have people bounce and do whatever. So I had them, I'm thinking, well, if it reduces impact, I should probably do some plyometrics.
Yeah.
And I can actually, it's very portable and it's very light. So I could move it around. So I didn't have to run my clients from the gym floor back to the cardio room and back to the gym floor and waste a bunch of time. So it was very efficient. So I thought, wow, that's really cool. So the more I played with it, the more I kind of liked it outside of what I think it was originally intended for, which is basically it was a group fitness, cardiovascular class. People did aerobics style dance move stuff, and it was very popular. And so when you say that it's this trend, it's kind of a resurgence.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been around a very long time. And even this small personal one was very popular in the 80s and the 90s. And I could get into the reasons why it kind of faded or kind of went away for a little while, but I'll leave that for another day.
No, why did it fade?
Well, I think
Why
the
do you think it
original,
faded?
well, I know why it faded. The original company was called Urban Rebounder,
Oh.
and they decided to take what they had in a commercial space and make it cheap. So they went on QVC and this,
Yeah.
and then its base, which was in a gym, it started to break. It started to be a liability problem. And you have been in the industry long enough to know that if there's a liability issue with a gym, it's gone. They don't even question it. It doesn't matter. That's not worth it because people will go after the deepest pockets, and gyms, especially the big ones, were not willing to take on that liability. So it kind of went away.
Sure.
And then JumpSport
Revamped it.
revamped what was the traditional trampoline. So if you look at old ones, they have straight legs, they're very short, they're fairly firm. Even compared to a spring rebounder, the JumpSport's about 50% less impactive. So that's something we'll talk about later about that particular component. But it's very stable because we have what we call a curved leg design, which allows that platform to be very stable, but puts you in what we call a dynamic environment that creates instability so that you have to recruit more muscle. You have to use more stability activation. So all of these things are important as to why to use this as part of your training program.
For sure.
I think that's the big turnaround, is that we built a better mousetrap at JumpSport. And so if you look at old mousetraps that would snap with cheese and stuff, and then you look at the new stuff that today it was just an evolution of the product that allowed it to resurge back to where it is today.
So why do you think it's then? Okay, I know it's reinvented and all the things, but why do you think it's trending so much? Like what made it like kind of hit and get so popular? Because I feel like I started like a year ago. I just started seeing it everywhere.
Well, it really started a long time ago. So I've been with JumpSport about 16 years, and there was a great re-education of people because when they first saw it, they said, "Oh yeah, my grandma had one of those." Oh,
Sure.
da 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 da. They had all these reasons and excuses. Oh yeah, my mom bounced on one of those back in the day. But the reality is that when they got on it, just like what you did, when you were got one and you're like, wait, this is way different than what I've ever tried before. Even my backyard one, right?
Yeah.
So it's just a different experience. So it's like going from driving an old like Pinto from whatever the 70s to now you're in a Mercedes and you're like, oh my goodness. And
That's very different.
the whole experience is different, and we can get into the reasons why that's important. But I think it started because re-education started about 16 or 20 years ago. I think the original trampolines from JumpSport came out in 2009. And there was a re-education process that took place over about the first 5 to 7 years where people got to understand the benefits. And then I guess somewhere along the line, the wellness industry took over and convinced everybody that exercise was a longevity tool. I know that's nothing new for you and I, and that we know that working out on a consistent basis is going to lend to having a better quality of life. You're going to live longer. You're going to feel better. You're going to actually be able to function better in life by being fit. And you've devoted your life to being a fitness professional, as am I, for the last 35 years. So I'm glad that the rest of the world finally caught up with this and understood that this is actually something that you need to do on a consistent basis in order to feel better about yourself.
And speaking of 35, I'm like kind of like my niche here is why women over 35 need this rebounder in their life. And my things that came to mind are always like the low impact cardio, the hormone and cortisol release that you get, and this is what I was like talking about in this previous episode. But the joint friendly, like really healthy, friendly for your joints, which is huge. I think it's great for people that don't do a lot of cardio to get the same benefits in a shorter period of time. They get that lymphatic drainage, they get that circulation, they get the, better recovery, core activation, but the mental health boosts, I think, is like a huge, huge, huge thing. I know, like, puts you in a better mood. Even when my daughter gets on it first thing in the morning, she's like so happy. You know what I'm saying? It's like, think about how happy kids are when they're on a trampoline. But couple questions about that, like you said, the longevity and all that. Like, why do women feel so good after rebounding? Women specifically, if you can answer that. Why is it easier on the body or than traditional cardio, which you kind of talked about with the springs and the way it's like made. So you kind of hit that, but why is it so important? Like as we're aging, because that's kind of like we're hitting that middle age range.
Well, let's tackle some of these things. Okay,
Yeah.
so women over 35 probably grew up at a time where they did ground-based cardio classes, Zumba, this, that, or the other thing. You're beating your body up, and it was really fun, and you got a good sweat, and you got your cardiovascular or cardiopulmonary exercise. But the next day, you kind of felt a little beat up,
Yeah.
right? You're not 20 anymore. Been through some things. Maybe you've had kids. Maybe you've had a sedentary. Maybe you've worked in a corporate office, and you haven't been in the gym as much as normal. And truthfully, it was very destructive to your joints, connective tissue. So reducing ground impact by up to 80% is one of the key factors. Okay, so it's a low impact environment to do fun, high intensity exercising that releases all those happy hormones.
100%.
Okay, so on top of that, let's talk about the mood booster. So the happy hormone thing is a component of gravitational compression and release. So you go from zero gravity to compression, and your body's response to that is a couple of things. So let's talk about neurologically first. So it's kind of a neurological regulator that allows your body, if you're dysregulated into the sympathetic nervous system, which would be anxiety or nervous or whatever, or the parasympathetic, which could be as bad as postpartum or just being sad, or you're just a little dysregulated into the parasympathetic,
Sure.
right?
Life bumps.
Right. So
Yeah.
the trampoline, when you're bouncing like that, it's going to release happy hormones, dopamine, serotonin, oxytocin. So there in itself is going to re-regulate your brain in the happy center to make you feel like at least happy or not sad and not nervous. It's just going to bring you back to a point where you're feeling very good, right? The other thing that happens when you bounce all the time is that you release adrenaline. So after about 3 minutes of bouncing on a trampoline, of being compressed and released like that, your body's response is to release adrenaline because it's kind of a little fight or flight and not sure what's going on. So it's going to make you be alert. So all of a sudden, I would say that 3 minutes on a trampoline is better than a cup of coffee. So it's a natural way to stimulate your body's own system to release adrenaline to wake you up, to give you energy, to make you prepared for whatever's coming, right?
Yeah.
So there's those two things. I always say that people go to me like, well, what's the best cardio to do? And I think the reason that the trampoline is so successful is it's fun.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know anybody that doesn't have some happy memory of bouncing on the bed, bouncing on a trampoline, or doing something as a kid, or just bouncing, or just jumping around, right? That stimulates all those things. Like I said, the happy hormones, the adrenaline, all of that. And then there's probably some throwback to a pleasant time in your life where you bounced on something, a bouncy house, whatever.
Yeah.
It's going to stimulate that memory in your brain to enjoy this activity, right? Because I could tell you that, let's say jumping rope was the greatest exercise in the world, and you're like, I will never jump rope. And you're like, so then it doesn't really work for you, right? But I don't know too many people. Actually, I've never really met anybody they had their other reasons why they didn't want to bounce on a trampoline, but for the most part that said, oh, I hate trampoline. I'm never going to jump on the trampoline. They have concerns about incontinence. They have concerns about falling off. They have concerns about other things, but not about the activity itself.
Yeah.
Right. And so that's why I think there's a resurgence. It's fun. It's something that you will do consistently. It doesn't beat your body up if you do exercise on it. It gives you a lot of variety in the types of exercise that you can do on this platform. I think a lot of people think it's just a trampoline, but I said earlier that it's way more than that. So think of it as a platform, kind of like a Bosu ball on steroids, right?
For sure.
So I can do trampoline, but I can also do balance work. I can do core work. I can do plyometrics. I can do all kinds of activities on this platform that are far more forgiving to my body than doing them on the ground. And I think that's part of the reason that this is all going on.
Those classes in Florida are like out of control.
Okay. Well, again, there's the fun factor.
There's the fun factor.
Loud music, like a club, but you're not drinking. You feel great. You're with a bunch of your friends. You're listening to great music. You're getting your groove on.
They look like they're having so much fun. That
You
like
show off your best self, and you just have a great time. It's a very accepting community. I think when you go to a bounce class, you're going to find, even if you've never done it before, that it's going to be a very warm and inviting environment where people are like, come on in. You're going to love this. Come try this.
Yeah. It's so funny that you said liability in gyms because from before I like want to go back to that just because like I teach group fitness. I always say I'll teach group fitness till I'm 85, God willing, 'cause it's like my fun job, right? I love teaching group fitness, but like I remember I was like, why don't we have trampolines here? Or like rebounders, and they're like liability straight up.
Yeah. Well, another thing
I'm like, I
too.
worked for Barry's. People would fly off the treadmills, like fly, and we'd be like, they would. They're sprinting at like an 11, and sometimes people miss a step, But no, there's so much to this, Steve, and like I want to do more with it. Like I want to strength train on it, and I just did a whole episode on strength training, and it complements strength training so well with its low impact. And I'm an A positive blood type, and I have to do low impact cardio. It works better with me, my blood type and my genetic makeup. So like walking and low impact cardio are my friends. I don't do HIIT training anymore, but like you said, yes, I used to, and take a million spin classes and sprint, and I've ran marathons and half marathons and all the things, and I'm like, I can't, toenails would fall off. Like you're like so beat up. I love the feeling of the jump sport, and I personally want to like, I'm not an expert on it. I want to get more into it. So I'm very excited to like share more about this, and like all these topics are so good. And I think one of the or these talking points, I should say, are so good. But one of the things that just gets me really going is like the science behind it. Like you touched on it a little bit, but like how there's been like some studies on it. Like NASA did some studies. I know you and I briefly chatted yesterday, and you were telling me about some Harvard studies. Why don't you talk to me a little bit? Like, why did NASA study rebounding, and what makes it so or what's something surprising maybe about the science that people should know about?
Well, I think the surprising part about the NASA thing is that was not their intention. NASA didn't just go like, hey, I'm going to go get a trampoline and train astronauts. That's not how that happened.
Okay.
So just to give people some understanding, when you go into prolonged space with under zero gravity, you lose bone density. So you come back osteoporotic, or in the pre-stages of losing significant amounts of bone mass. So they tried to rehab them doing normal things on the ground, and they were finding that their astronauts were getting stress fractures or breaks in their bones. So they said, we've got to find a low impact environment that we can train these guys in to get them back to a point where they can then do ground-based exercises again. But the happy accident was that they found that not only was it low impactive and they were able to do that, but they were gaining muscle mass.
Yeah.
They got bone density back. And they're like, how can that even be possible? And so the science behind it is this: when you put your body under exponential gravity and you compress your body, like on the bottom stroke of the JumpSport, which is, it'll generate up to 4 Gs of force. In other words, your body will get compressed, and your body's reaction to that is your muscles will contract.
Sure.
The greater the compression, the greater the contraction. So the beautiful thing about that is, number one, your muscular system is attached to your skeletal system. So
Sure.
the greater the force that's being exerted against your system, your body's going to respond by building bone density back. And they found that being in that unstable environment, your body had to recruit up to 30% more muscle, so to stabilize the movement. So the study you saw from NASA that said 30 minutes of running on a treadmill is equivalent to 10 minutes of bouncing on a trampoline is on a caloric level. So it doesn't mean that if you do 10 minutes of cardio on a trampoline, it's equivalent to 30 minutes of cardio on a treadmill. What it means is you're going to burn more calories doing that. Now,
In
that
less
was
time.
on a big trampoline. So that was about 7 Gs of force. Like I said, the JumpSport can do about 4 Gs. So there was an apples for apples study done by ACE, which is the American Council on Exercise. And they took a JumpSport trampoline with JumpSport programming compared to running on a treadmill. And they found that the caloric expenditure of 12 minutes of rebounding on a JumpSport was equal to 20 minutes of running on a treadmill. So that's the reality of it. I want to just clear up all
Okay.
the misnomers because they play telephone with that NASA study and it gets used and talked about a lot, but I want people to understand the context of what it was.
Sure.
Now, as far as other science, I've worked with UCLA Medical Center and we have JumpSport trampolines in their special needs program for kids,
Awesome.
which deals with kids that are on the spectrum.
Hmm.
Currently commissioning a study at Harvard with another professor that wants to see the applications of how the jump sport would apply to improving the mood and concentration of kids with autism.
Wow.
So there are some other things coming out here that are beneficial outside of fitness
For sure.
that we can talk about. So the science really lends itself more to wellness and longevity and re-regulation for people who are dysregulated, not just kids on the spectrum, but grown-ups, adults, whoever, like you found by using this postpartum when you were dysregulated into your parasympathetic nervous system, right? So you're a little sad, you're a little off, you started bouncing, all of a sudden you start to feel better, you feel better about yourself, it's kind of a snowball effect, and you weren't feeling all the negative effects of jar and that jerk factor and all those things that come into play when doing ground-based exercises.
I was really big on first thing in the morning creating a very regimented self-care, healthy. Like my goal was like to take care of myself postpartum because I felt so bad about myself during my pregnancy that I was like it was like my number one job was my self-care. It was like my morning routine. And so that's where that came in. And it really, like you said, like that's where I felt that I felt so much better. Even so with that, and then like I would always get myself dressed, put a little makeup on. Like I mean, I work at a gym, like I don't, but I getting dressed, putting a little makeup on, changing my earrings, or I was doing things to make me feel good about myself during this time that I was so down. So it totally set the tone. And I knew that because I heard that and that's why I wanted it, right? That was like the motivator of me getting the rebounder. It was actually not the cardio. It was the mood booster and the lymphatic drainage. And it was those things that was my motivator.
Okay,
Actually.
so I'm
Yeah.
going to give you a laundry list of things that were really going on with you that you probably had no idea. So number
Tell me.
one, it did help regulate your nervous system. So you felt better about all that. The happy hormones got released. You had a
Yeah.
little bit more energy, right? Gave you a little bit more motivation to go do your thing, put your
Sure.
makeup on, do all those things. After you have a baby, your pelvic floor, you were flooded with hormones that made your body like Gumby, like you were like Stretch Armstrong, right? So your body needs to come back to its normal
Yeah.
state. It could take up to 6 months or more for that to happen.
I think it
And in
takes
that
two.
process,
They say it takes 2 full years for your body to go back.
yeah, I'm not saying
Right?
that, but generally
No,
within
because
6
your
months,
hips, they say it takes 2 full years for your hips and your uterus to go back.
right? So being
Yeah.
able to do something that speeds that process by strengthening your pelvic floor, so
Yeah.
even gently bouncing on a trampoline will help tighten your pelvic floor. Okay, so that's one thing that was going on, right? You just had a baby.
Yeah.
So your pelvic floor kind of like got a little soft and stretched out, and now it has to come
I
back.
would pee sometimes on there. I'm like,
Okay, so we talked a little bit about incontinence, right?
yeah.
The little incontinence, that's because your bladder sits on top of your
Yeah.
pelvic floor and gets beat around. So once your pelvic floor is nice and taut again, then it holds it in place and you have less problems with incontinence. So that's
Totally.
number two. Number three, you talked a little bit about your lymphatic system. So people don't really quite understand. They're like, yeah, gravity and movement and lymphatic system. And what people don't understand is that your lymphatic system is responsible for basically three things, but most people don't only know about one. They call it the garbage man of our body, right? So
Uh-huh.
goes around and picks up all the cellular debris and it brings it back to my system and then it gets rid of it and they think it goes right to the organs and it goes out, but that's not really how it works. So what it is it's just like your circulatory system, right?
Yeah.
But it doesn't have its own pump like your heart, okay? So it
Right.
requires movement and muscle contraction, right? So gravity, I just explained this earlier, that when you get under exponential gravity, your body contracts. And then when you go to zero gravity, your body releases. So you're creating a natural pump from your muscles that pushes lymph through the system back into your circulatory system so that it can be pushed out into your kidneys and your liver and disposed of properly. The second function of the lymphatic system is your immune system. So it helps bolster your immune system by, number one,
Wow.
cleaning all that stuff and making your body more efficient at what it does. It's also the place that lymphocytes, which are basically a function of your body to go in and kill bacteria and
Right.
viruses and other foreign bodies that don't belong in your system, right? So they can be then collected and put back into the system. And it's also important to understand that it's where fat is absorbed through your intestinal tract. So all of those things happen in your lymphatic system. So if it isn't functioning well,
Right. Or you
then
feel
your
like you're
body's
inflamed because so
gonna
many people I
struggle,
work
right?
with are like, I'm inflamed. I'm swollen. I'm inflamed. I'm like, get a
Okay.
rebounder.
Okay, but that's that anti-inflammatory component is bolstering your lymphatic system. So your lymphatic system collects all the extracellular water, which is called interstitial space in your body that's not in a cell.
Right.
So it just collects in there. That's that puffy, I'm inflamed, I'm bloated. All of that is an inefficient lymphatic system.
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's another reason for that. All right. And then, like I was telling you earlier, if the astronauts got bone density benefits from bouncing, then you are going to get those. You were getting that.
Yeah.
Right. So pelvic floor, bone density, mood enhancer, energy
drainage.
booster,
Yeah.
all natural, right? Effectively making your body more efficient at what it's designed to do in the first place. Of course, you're going to feel better. And it's a non-impact or a very low impactive environment to do generally what you needed to do anyway to get back on your feet. Right.
What feedback do you think you get the most from like women like me? Let's say in late 30s, 40s, even 50s. What's the most feedback? Like easy to do, easy on the joints, or mood boost? Like what's the most feedback?
Well, I've had a lot of people write me letters about recovering from postpartum.
That's yeah.
I've had people say, you saved my life. This product has been a lifesaver for me. I didn't know what I was going to do. I tried pharmaceuticals. I tried this. I tried that. I think it was working. I bounced on a trampoline and I started with 2 minutes a day. Then it was 5 minutes. And she goes, now I can't get enough of it. I could bounce 2 hours. I try to do it
I
in the
had more
morning.
time. Like yeah. Totally. So, okay, I have some spitfire questions to like wrap it up because I feel like I could talk to you forever. But like before I ask you those, and it's going to be like this or that kind of a thing, kind of an answer. Um, what? Oh, that's kind of one of the questions. Never mind. Well, I might piggyback of it. Okay, so let me start. So, morning or evening rebounding? What's better?
I don't think anything's better. I think when you have time to do it and you feel comfortable, some people are morning workout people, some people are evening.
So
I
there's
like to
not
start.
like a benefit in the morning then versus
Well, let's put it this way. I think you've been sitting sedentary and laying prone for 6 to 12 hours. So your lymphatic
12
system,
hours. Who gets 12 hours?
well, kids do.
Kids do.
Kids sleep 12 hours. So your lymphatic system has been sitting dormant. So doing something first thing in the morning would be far more beneficial than when you've already been running around. But I see people in the afternoon that have that midday slump that go right to their trampoline and it's their pick me up. So they don't go to coffee. They don't do something artificial to bring them around, and it carries them through the rest of the day until they can
I'm looking at my producer. I think they should have one in here. He'd be like bouncing while like filming.
So
Okay,
I guess if I
shoes
had to
or barefoot?
choose,
Oh,
if I had to choose, morning. I think morning would.
I agree. I kind of feel like okay.
That's my
If you
go.
haven't gotten it in yet, it's still good to do like before bed, or is that gonna
Or twice a day, or whatever you can do. But
but is that
even if
gonna
you
like boost your
skip it,
dopamine where you're not gonna be able to sleep at night?
no, I
Okay.
don't think that's ever
All right.
been. It's not artificial. It just lifts you up for a minute, but your body still stays on its own circadian rhythm.
Okay, cool.
You're not overriding it.
Okay.
You're just using your body's own natural abilities to get you through your day.
Okay, shoes or barefoot?
I think that's a personal preference. I personally like to wear shoes.
Oh, all right.
I think, if I traverse off the trampoline, the one thing about the JumpSport is that you don't have to stay on the platform. You can do lateral plyometrics. You can step on and off. You can use it as a box jump. There's a lot of versatility in this
Yeah.
product, as far as a platform.
And we already kind of said this, like you're like, how long should someone do daily? Like 2 to 5 minutes? Up
Well,
to
you can do
20,
as
up to
little.
30?
You can do as little as 3 to 5 minutes and
3 to
still
5
get benefits from this. And
Okay,
some
so that's the
capacity.
least
Now,
amount. 3 to 5 is the least for the benefits.
no, if you can only do 30, I have people that could could not do anything at all on the ground and started with 30 seconds.
Oh,
So it
wow.
really depends on your fitness level, how
Totally.
deconditioned or conditioned you are, how intense the programming should be, or what you're trying to accomplish. So it can be 3 minutes of gentle bouncing if you're just looking for health bounce.
Sure.
And it could be 60 minutes of all out high intensity craziness because that's what you need in your life and you're physically capable of doing that. So it's really up to the person that's using it.
And not all, I was going to say this earlier, I forgot. Don't buy cheap rebounders. They're not all created equal. They will put you in the chiropractor and you will have problems. You need to trust the sources. These rebounders are so different. Every single one of my client, I make them order one. Yes, I have a little affiliate code. I'll put it in the show notes. But okay, what's the biggest misconception about rebounders? That they're all the same? That's kind of why I led into that. Like, they're not all the same. What's the
No,
biggest misconception?
well, that basically what's one is the same. This one has bungees too.
Yeah.
Um, I'm just gonna give you the rundown of JumpSport. We source our bungees specifically. We had them specifically designed to give a very specific stretch to reduce the jerk factor that I talked about earlier. It is an adjustable system, so you can have multiple users. Let's say you and your husband want to use this. I can adjust it tighter for him or
Oh,
looser
I
for
didn't know
you.
that.
Yeah. It's stackable. If you have more than one of them, you can use them stacked. It's easier to store in clubs. One of the things about you'll see them in the gym that they're stacked in the corner. Other trampolines can't do that.
I didn't even know you could adjust it. I can adjust mine?
You can adjust yours.
How? I'm gonna like FaceTime you later.
We'll have to talk about this off
Oh
camera.
yeah,
Okay.
we will, we will. Okay, then what's your okay, last question and then we can end with some final messages. What is your favorite benefit personally? You've been with this company for so long. You're such a big part of the jump sport community.
I like that any given day, depending on what I want to use it for, that it's available. The versatility of the product is really crazy. And it's not just the trampoline and the adjustability. What it is that JumpSport is designed um, a, a bunch of accessories that will support you to do other things. So if you're going to do strength training and not just cardio, if you're going to use it for your core work, um, they've just designed it in a way that allows you to go to work way beyond what a traditional straight-legged trampoline, whether it's bungee or spring. And again, spring trampolines are going to be far more impactful on your body, regardless of that. And generally, you want to get a product that's going to last a long time. You're not going to have to worry about it. You can let your kids use it, your husband use it. Like, I trust the JumpSport product line to be able to let my kids and people that I care
Sure.
about use it without worrying, right? So it's in literally hundreds of gym facilities. That tells you that it's a very safe and effective product, or it wouldn't be there anymore. But
I 100%. I think like one of the biggest call to actions from this episode is encouraging people to do 5 to 10 minutes, but anything is better than nothing. Um, you're gonna promote your longevity, like we said. All there's so many better. I mean, the list goes on. I can't even like name them
well,
all right here. In the last few seconds
I'm going
here,
to
but
throw in one more thing for you.
yeah.
JumpSport includes 60 days of programming so that you'll know what to do with your trampoline included in the purchase of your product.
Do you guys send that out email?
No, it goes right in the box. You open it up, it says
Oh,
right
it goes
there,
in the box.
JumpSport TV, 60 days for free.
Oh,
Yeah,
amazing.
yeah,
JumpSport, there's JumpSport TV.
yes.
So jumpsport.com, I'm gonna put all the links down in my show notes. And that's a great feature for new buyers. And and again, like I think that if somebody is just looking for something new to even to add in their regiment, this is something that they're just overall gonna love to do. I don't think I can't think of one negative thing that it does. So and I just feel like how like fitness can be stressful. It's not for me, but that's what people get stressed. They're like, oh, I gotta go do this workout. I feel like trampoline rebounding is one of those things that is not stressful. It's like, oh, I want to go. Like it's fun. It's exciting. It's like I get to go jump on my trampoline for 2 minutes in the morning. Like you look forward to it. So I don't know. Thanks you so much for being here, Steve. Anything else? Last couple seconds here? You want to chime in? We'll have to like bring you on again. You'll have to like come to Vegas and come to the studio. We'll have to do a shoot here.
Okay. I'm happy to stop by. You should have let me know. I was in Vegas not that long ago.
We
I
should
would've
do
been
a
happy.
shoot for the brand.
All right. And then I can actually show you some of these moves and these.
Yeah, 100%.
So I don't know. The last thing I should say is that, and I said this earlier with people, I encourage people after 35 years of being a fitness professional to find something that you love,
Yeah.
like on a note, because at the end of the day, right, you want to enjoy the quality of your life, regardless of how long you get to spend on this amazing place.
I know.
So
It's
from
fast.
day one till the final days, do something that brings joy to your existence. And I do believe that trampolining is one of those things that if you really get into it, you're going to find the joy and you will find a new path back to doing some other amazing activity.
100%.
And that's my parting words for you, for your,
Thank
for
you
your
so much, Steve. Great to see you. We will be in touch soon, I know. And you guys, thanks for listening in. I hope you learned something. I hope this episode brought you some excitement and brought you to a new motivation on what you're going to add to your fitness routine in the future. So we will see you guys next time on the Melina Method. Thanks.
Thanks for tuning in to the Melina Method podcast. I hope you're fired up to make a shift in your life. That's the whole point. So if this episode spoke to you, subscribe to my weekly insider. It's melinafitness.com/subscribe. It's all the fun things that you want to get to know me and know what's coming up and what's the latest tea on the Melina Method. So I will see you guys next time.